So I always ask this question, 98% of the time, the answer comes back purple. So was there a book in your investing career that had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah, so it's not Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That's a good staple. So basically, my father was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Okay. So, he was born in 1921 and actually lived through the Depression. Okay. And so if you actually live, you understand, if you live through the Depression, you understand bad stuff can happen and food doesn't always going to be on the table. So in any case, he was my Rich Dad, Poor Dad instructor. Um, I really like for people who want to perhaps move into multifamily investing, multifamily syndication. I like the best ever book, the real estate syndication book. I think I've got it here. Hold on.
Yep, Joe Fairless.
Hold
Yes.
on, let me put it up, get my ears back in. You probably have it too, I bet.
Yeah, I was looking earlier. I know it's back there somewhere. Oh, got it.
Yep, so you show it because somehow it's not showing on my screen.
I just saw it. Here we go. Okay.
Yes, that's the one.
Here it is.
Yes. And I can see you've actually used it, so good for you.
Yes.
But that will take it soup to nuts and give you a very good background on kind of all of these aspects. And then even with the book, I still suggest little partnership, little mentoring, to kind of hold your hand the first time, first one or two deals through. And then once you get those first one or two under your belt, then if you want to kind of be the lead guy and take the ball and run, I think you can do that. But it helps to have somebody who's been there, done that before.
I got to give props to this book as well, because this is the book that started the Why Not Real Estate podcast.
Yes.
The marketing section in here, my background was marketing. It's like, I can do that. So
yes. And Joe was a marketer too, but before he got in. And so they have a conference. It's in early April. It may be sold out, but I would encourage people to consider going next year if they can't get in this year. A lot of great content. One of my partners, Dan, who's the finance analyst guy, he's an ex-California guy too, but he's living up in Cary, North Carolina. I actually met him at a best ever conference in 2020. And we developed a friendship. Harry's about 5 hours from Greenville. He came down to Greenville. He invested with us in a few deals as an LP. And I knew he wanted to kind of move to active. So now he's part of the active team, acting as a general partner with us. So I can speak from firsthand experience. You can actually find your partner. People will help you take that next step by going to these conferences. And yes, you may have to talk to 20 people to find the right one and develop the relationship. But a lot of people are at the same spot, trying to figure out how to move into multifamily. It's a great space to be in. We know we have a problem with housing affordability in this country, and I don't think anything is fundamentally going to change that. We can't build houses, apartments quick enough to keep up with the demand. The cost of materials and labor is going to continue to go up. So the apartment business, you have an almost unlimited demand for your product, right? And you kind of touched on it before. As an apartment owner, you have a responsibility to provide residents safe, habitable housing. They work hard for their money. They deserve a decent place to live. And in return, they pay rent and the investors profit. In our experience, when you do the right thing by the tenants, your building operation improves, you get better and better tenants. And so it's really a win-win when you do the right thing. So take care of these people. We put in little gazebos with a bench, little dog parks. No big deal. It's not building the Taj Mahal, but just something to make their lives a little better. On this 43 unit building we bought, the units were plumbed for stack washer dryers, but the prior owner didn't supply the stack washer dryers. So when we took over operation, we put in stack washer dryers for all our tenants. And these units were renting for $650 a month. It's now up to about $950. But for a tenant paying $650, to expect them to buy a stack washer dryer for $1,200 is a little bit of a stretch. So we put in the stack washer dryer. Their life is better. They don't have to spend it at the laundromat. They can be at home and save some money. We get a little more rent. And, we try to maintain good relations with our residents. And it pays off for the investors too, because good occupancy, rarely any evictions. So it's important. Do the right thing. You'll also be doing the right thing for business.
So what you just mentioned there, the washer and dryers, was probably just over $50,000, which was less than 1 month of the profit that you did by even doing this deal. So over 3 years, it's negligible to spend that 50,000.
Yeah, and basically, I think the way I worked it out is if we got an extra $50 a month rent for those units times 43, that's $2,150 a month, times 12, so it's about $25,000 more a year in rent at a 6 cap. That's $430,000 in value. So the 50,000 investment increased the value of our property 430,000. Win-win. And our tenants don't have to sit around the laundromat 2 hours every week feeding the machines with quarters.
Right.
So an improvement like that was kind of a no-brainer. And so as an operator, the other thing we've implemented is bulk cable. So we'll sign a bulk cable contract on this 43 unit one. I think we're paying Spectrum. They're the provider here. I don't know what you have in your area, but Spectrum, I think we're paying them like $30 a month per unit, but we charge the tenant $60 a month. So we get a profit of 30. And again, the benefit is if the tenant went direct to Spectrum, Spectrum's charging them $100. So we're making a little money, the tenant's saving a little money. And so again, it's just a win-win. And so with multifamily and having all these units, you can just kind of incrementally increase these profit sources, and it can have a big impact on the bottom line, where it's harder if you had 43 houses. There's no way you'd implement most of this stuff.
Economy of scale. So we're almost
Yes.
wrapping up here, and I don't want to make you late for your next one. Was there a second book that had an impact on you?
Well, the other one, I would say, I got it here. So there's another young guy in the business. Joe's middle-aged. Well, I'm old, so everybody's young. So the other one I like is a book by a guy named Rob Beardsley. He's a syndicator out of New York that specializes in Texas investments, primarily Houston, but really sharp guy. And he has a little book. It's available on Amazon, Structuring and Raising Debt and Equity for Real Estate. Beardsley, Beardsley, Rob Beardsley, structuring and raising debt and equity for multifamily. So included in that purchase, and I think it's like $9, so it's no big deal. I think he also provides his underwriting software, his model for free. So if people want to start underwriting these deals, that's a good source. So that's a great book too. So yeah, that will keep everybody busy.